All right, let's talk about something really important. It's tough, it's personal, but we have to get into it. It's this phenomenon of senior ghosting. That slow, creeping feeling of becoming, well, invisible in a world that you literally helped build. But listen, this isn't about fading away, not at all. This is about reclaiming your power. It's about how to go from feeling like an unseen figure to becoming the undeniable authority in your own life. Let's get started.
Just take a second with that, the slow fade. It's not some big, dramatic fight. It's quieter. It's the phone call that doesn't get returned, the text message you sent yesterday that's just sitting there. It's that feeling at a family dinner where the conversation just seems to wash right over you. It's a gut punch. And if you have felt this, I need you to hear me. You are not crazy. You're not imagining it. It is real. It hurts. And today, we're going to give it a name, and then we're going to talk about the solution.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to define this friction of invisibility so you know exactly what you're up against. Then we'll get into why this hurts so bad. And spoiler alert, it's a deep biological thing. Number 3, this is the big shift, becoming the lead auditor of your social world. After that, we get really practical with the Dignity Anchor Protocol, a system to protect your energy. And we'll wrap up by talking about commanding your presence, making sure your value is never ever up for debate again. Okay, let's jump right into part 1, the friction of invisibility. This is all about taking that fuzzy, frustrating feeling, that quiet anger or that deep, empty feeling you get, and putting a pin in it, giving it a name. Because you can't fight what you can't define. The name for this feeling is Social Invisibility Friction. And it's so much more than just being overlooked. It's this huge psychological feeling where it seems like the world is quietly trying to recast you. See, you've lived your whole life as the lead character in your own story, right? Of course. But now it feels like society wants to make you a background extra. And that gap, that friction, is that awful, jarring feeling between who you know you are inside and how the world seems to be seeing you on the outside. And this really breaks it down, doesn't it? Look at the left side. That's you, a lead character, a high-resolution identity, filled with decades of detail, nuance, and wisdom. You're a living resource. But then look at the right side. That's the friction. The world starts treating you like a background extra. Your high-res identity gets viewed in low definition, like a fuzzy, out-of-focus picture. It may be the one that stings the most. You're a walking, talking library of experience, but you get treated like a museum exhibit. Something to be admired from a distance, but not really engaged with. And I need you to really get this. That pain, that friction, it's not a sign that you're becoming irrelevant. It's not a weakness. It is the sound of your powerful, inherent dignity rubbing up against a shallow, distracted culture. A culture that's forgotten what's actually valuable. It's not that you're shrinking, it's that the world's attention span is. So let's build on that. Part 2, your survival instinct. We're about to dive into why being ignored, especially at this stage of life, feels like such a deep, fundamental threat. Why it's a pain that gets right into your bones. This is the question, isn't it? Why does an unreturned text feel like a slap in the face? Why can one dismissive comment completely derail your day? Well, it's because this isn't just about bad manners. Your body is reacting to something much, much older. Here's the truth. It hurts so much because, to your brain, it feels like a genuine threat to your survival. I'm serious. The parts of your brain that light up when you stub your toe, they're the exact same parts that light up when you feel socially rejected. So that tightness in your chest when you're being ignored, that's a real biological stress response. Your ancient, hardwired brain thinks the tribe is leaving you behind. And for our ancestors, being left behind was a death sentence. And this biological threat gets cranked up to 11 by what we call the contribution visibility gap. Just think about your life. For decades, your visibility was guaranteed by your utility, right? You were a parent, a provider, a boss, a caregiver. People had to see you. They depended on you. Your presence was absolutely non-negotiable. But as those roles naturally shift, this painful gap opens up. You are still contributing enormous value, wisdom, stability, perspective. But because it's not the same kind of daily urgent utility, your visibility can just plummet. And that gap right there is where that feeling of being overlooked really takes root. And on top of all that, there's this generational protocol gap. You operate by a code of respect where relationships are built to last. For you, a missed call isn't just an oversight, it's a small broken promise. It signals a lack of respect. But you're trying to operate in a world that's just noisy. It's filled with digital distractions where relationships can feel disposable. They're like cardboard boxes, easy to get, easy to throw away. But you're trying to build a stone cathedral. You're working from two completely different sets of blueprints, and it is exhausting.
Okay, this is the pivot. This is the turning point of our whole conversation. Part 3, becoming the lead auditor. This is where we stop analyzing the pain and we start building the solution. It's a massive identity shift, moving from a passive place to one of total command. Let's talk about the old identity, the one that social invisibility friction tries to push on you. It's the discarded peer. It's that feeling of being on the outside, hoping someone invites you in. It's the posture of an applicant, sending out your resume for friendship and just waiting, hoping someone calls you back. It's powerless, it's draining, and it is beneath you.
So today, right now, we're throwing that old identity out. Your new identity is the lead social auditor. You're not applying for a spot in anyone's life anymore. You are the CEO of your life. You are the employer. And the people in your inner circle, they work for you. You set the terms, you decide who gets an interview. You are in control.
Let this really sink in. You are the CEO. So, what are the job requirements? What are you hiring for? You're hiring for the only things that matter: character, loyalty, and presence. Does this person have the character to maintain a real connection? Do they show up with loyalty? And most important, do they give you their presence, their actual undivided attention? If a candidate doesn't even bother to show up for the interview, the returned call, the text back, well, they don't get the job. It's that simple. No anger, no drama. Just a standard of excellence that you will no longer compromise on.
So you're probably thinking, okay, I like the sound of being the CEO, but how do I actually do that? That brings us to part 4, the Dignity Anchor Protocol. This isn't about wishful thinking. This is a mechanical system, a set of clear, practical rules designed to protect your most precious resource, your dignity.
All right, the absolute cornerstone of this protocol is the 2-strike rule. It's simple, it's powerful, and it's non-negotiable. Here's how it works. Strike 1, you reach out. You sent the text, you make the call. It's a genuine good faith effort. Let's say you text someone, hey, was just thinking about you, would love to grab a coffee next week. And then, crickets, nothing. Now the old you, the applicant, might start to panic. You check your phone, wonder if they got it, maybe even send a follow-up. Did you get my text? But the lead auditor? No, you wait. You give it a reasonable amount of time, a few days, maybe a week. Then, and only then, comes strike 2. You make one final generous attempt. Something like, hey, just circling back on that coffee. Hope you're doing well. And if that attempt is also met with silence or one of those vague, low-effort replies like, oh my God, so busy RN, with zero offer of another time, that's it. You go silent. The pursuit is over. The ball is now 100% in their court. And listen, this isn't about playing games. This is about managing your energy. It stops you from being the chaser and instantly preserves your dignity.
Now, the 2-strike rule is like the main gate to your fortress of dignity. Let's talk about the other defenses. First, diversify your social portfolio. Seriously, stop investing all your emotional capital in relationships that aren't giving you a return. Actively look for connections with different age groups. There are so many younger people out there who are starved for the kind of wisdom you have. Look into mentorship programs, nonprofits, local community groups. Next, you have to state your standard. This is not about being difficult, it's about being clear. You use I statements, so instead of pointing a finger and saying, you're always on your phone, you calmly state your needs. I've realized that for me to really connect, I thrive on undivided attention. How about we make this a phone-free dinner? A person of character will respect that. A person who doesn't, well, they just failed their interview. Third, you must practice high-quality solitude. It is 1,000,000 times better to be alone than to be with people who make you feel alone. Rediscover the joy of your own company. Go to that movie, take yourself out to lunch, enjoy the peace. And finally, and this is maybe the most important tool of all, the value log. Every single night, you will write down 3 ways you added value to the world. They can be tiny. I held the door for someone. I made a really great pot of soup. I listened when a friend needed to talk. This simple act retrains your brain to find your self-worth from your actions from inside you, instead of waiting for it to come from a notification on your phone.
And that brings us home, our final section, commanding your presence. This is where all the pieces come together, and you internalize the absolute truth that your value is a fact. It's a constant. It is not up for negotiation. I want you to completely reframe how you see your sensitivity. The fact that you notice these things, that you feel these slights so deeply, that is not a flaw.
That is your superpower. It is called advanced social intelligence. You are a master of reading the room in a world full of people who have forgotten there's even a room to read. You did not live all these decades to become a person of depth and substance just to let a shallow world make you feel small. Burn this into your memory. This is your fundamental right. Your dignity is your sovereign territory, and you are its sole protector. If respect isn't on the menu, whether that's a literal dinner table or just a conversation, you have the absolute right to stand up and walk away. And finally, let's put this all in perspective. Think about what you have been through in your life, the real hardships, the real challenges you have overcome. You are a walking testament to resilience. You will not let your story end with being defeated by the silence on the other end of a phone. You are so much bigger than that silence. So, this is your mission. Remember who you are now. You are the lead auditor. Your job is to take a clear, honest look at who has truly earned the privilege of your time and your presence. Starting today, you stop chasing ghosts, and you start building your real air circle. Audit the circle. Anchor the dignity. Your best years are not behind you. They're the ones you're about to command.